Chapter 5. Closing the Loop. With the Sarge pressed in between Mayo and me, three dropped jaws hang speechless at the spectacle. There's no Hannibal Lecter grin, no air of superiority, no search for prestige. Mitchell's like a kid about to explain his project to the judges at the school science fair. My refracted light to lower electricity consumption demonstration crashed and burned. Hard. Susie saw the whole thing. We were 15. It never would have worked out. Better off, as I met Lucille my senior year of high school when I only thought I was more mature. Amid all this craziness, why does my mind keep drifting back to Lucille? Let me get this straight. Mayo says. Straight would be good right about now. You implanted a device in your chest to flux you in time, whatever. But you need the drugs to what? Kickstart it? Yes, if it helps you to understand, you could say that. I admit I'm not always the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I'm starting to piece things together. It's a little scary, I gotta tell you, feeling like I understand such a mentally disturbed mind. Following the logic of the illogical or something like that. Okay. I pause here to get my thoughts into an intelligible sentence. My eyes keep wandering back to the tube and wire. If you can go back, like you say, why are we talking here? You say this is our what? Fourth time and fifth, counting the first. When I motion for him to sit, Mitchell releases his shirt and takes a seat. The bulge of the tube pushes out from the fabric. Mayo and I sit, and the Sarge moves to the end of the table, arms folded over her chest. Not sure what'll spew from this guy's mouth next. I go on. And we keep preventing you from going back to save your wife. If you've done this over and over, why keep coming here? Why not jump back again before we bring you in? Mind you, I'm just playing along. I recall reading somewhere that it's best not to contradict the fabrications of a fragile mind. Or maybe it was in a training they make us take every year, I got no clue. But I go with it. That's just it. I can't make too many changes, or I risk not being able to change the one that matters. Saving your wife. Now Mayo's catching on, even if it was painfully obvious. One of those goes without saying deals that gets said anyway. As someone who watches a ton of sci-fi, I follow the whole butterfly reasoning in Mitchell's explanation. If time travel were science without the fiction, undoing someone's death is an enormous change to make to the timeline. All that rip a hole in a fabric of reality nonsense. Again, this guy's fully committed to his story. The eyes don't lie, Ma always used to say. Of course, she said it whenever she caught me telling one. Or her husband, but that's another story. One I retold enough times in my own marriage. But you know the two of us. I wave my hand between myself and Mayo. Are going to bring you in, interrogate you, and keep you here. Yes, every time. That's why I tried calling 911 once, the last time. I thought if you got there earlier, maybe you'd identify the guy. Maybe you'd see it wasn't me, and I can alter the time of events that keeps trapping me here until I can't make the jump back far enough to save Cynthia. His wife's name rolling off the tongue floods his eyes with a fresh wave of tears. I can't help thinking of the last time I spoke the name Lucille aloud. Must be ages. After wiping under his eyes with the tissue I handed him, Mitchell coughs into it. The cough. The blood. It's not the device. Well, not only that. The pharmaceuticals I created to activate the temporal flux have some negative side effects. It's why I've never tried it until... Appearing lost in his thoughts, he trails off. Leaning forward, Mayo asks, "Will it kill you?" Not unless I keep failing and keep trying. I won't stop until I save her. The scowl on the sergeant's face is easy to read. She unfolds her arms, presses her fist into the metal table, and leans so hard that her knuckles crack. You ain't likely to get an insanity plea, Mr. Mitchell. We have you at the scene at the time of the murder. My detectives know other suspects and no other motive but yours. What motive do I have? I love my wife. Now you have to say loved, don't you? She pauses. To let that sink in, I guess. Everything you're telling us speaks to your obsession. You're a control freak. Living a perfect little life with a woman of means. Maybe she was going to leave you. Your testimony here will convince a jury how you can't go on without her. Along with your being at the scene, that's plenty of motive for a guilty verdict. Why don't you people listen? I was there to save her. From whom? You've been here for over half an hour, and you've given these two detectives nothing. Who would want to kill your wife? Besides you, of course. As Mitchell wags his head, eyes closed, I prepare for an explosion. The rage he keeps bottled inside, which erupted on his poor, unsuspecting wife, looks ready to pop from his reddened face. After a breath, he says, Don't random killings happen in New York all the time? Don't muggings sometimes go horribly wrong? No one hated Cynthia or had any reason to hurt her. Perhaps steeled by his own words, Mitchell raises his head and looks with laser focus at the Sarge. Especially not me. A knock on the door comes ahead of the click. Another uniform leans in to tell us the ambulance is pulling in downstairs. No one expected a medevac, and we don't have a helipad on the roof, so where else would the ambulance be? After a nod, the Sarge stands straight and flexes her shoulders. You guys wrap this up. I think we all agree he's good for it. I want him processed before he's taken to the hospital. Mayo and I nod, and she leaves, letting the door thud close behind us. In a minute or two of silence, I'm able to assemble this as if time travel were possible. More of that playing along with the delusion to get clarity stuff I read about. What am I saying? That must have been in the department's continuing education. Since when do I read mental health articles? Mr. Mitchell, Bernard, you're obviously a smart guy, successful. You created a device you believe can transport you back, but only over a brief span of time. With the pharmaceuticals, yes. Right. A device you designed and built, inserted into your chest cavity, along with drugs you also created, can send you back in time. It seems we're talking what? Hours and not days, am I right? Excitement glows in his eyes now, as if I were about to award him first prize in the science fair. Yeah, exactly. My jump window is incredibly short. I've only gotten it to around 26 hours. As I nod in response, I catch Mayo's unspoken objection in the corner of my eye. If he'd been the one asking these questions, I'd be as dumbfounded as he looks now. Then why haven't you jumped back again? Why let us bring you in and detain you each time? As I said, I can only change so much. After I go back, I won't have my compound to jump again. I must go to my home to blend some more. I've been doing that after you released me, but it's always been a little too late. He eyes the wall clock and dips his head. This trip too, I won't make it. Why not make more ahead of time? That came from genuine curiosity. My head hurts now, and it's been too long since my coffee. And the soothing amber sweetener my tongue craves to ease the pain. I don't have time. You're not getting this. If I can avoid this. He draws a circle in the air between us. I can make it early enough to get there in time. No matter what I've tried to do to avoid this, I keep getting detained here overnight. Brilliant minds don't always see the obvious. Even brilliantly disturbed minds like Mitchell's. I read a story once, something about an overlap created by a time jumper, where he tries to go back in time from within a time jump. leapfrogging through time, I guess. You're going about this the wrong way, I say. After a puzzled look, he says, "It's the only chance I have to save her." You say you jump back or whatever, and race over to that alley where your wife was killed. He nods. You can't make it fast enough to save her. Then you get picked up by us again. By the time we release you, it takes you too long to make the compound, and the loop starts again. Yes, exactly. But none of you remembers any of it. I mean, there are theories of some residual memory, kind of like deja vu, but nothing in the conscious mind. So you'll do the same thing every time. I'm not saying I'm starting to believe this guy, but I have the answer his desperation is too consuming to allow him to see. If I believed any of it, that is. Playing along, as I said. Why not try a new tactic? Don't run to the alley, which you know doesn't work. Go straight home. Make the compound. If you go back in time again from there, instead of running across town, you... His face lights up like the sun. I'd have plenty of time to save her. Unfortunately for him, time runs out for this land of make-believe his mind created. Paramedics enter with a gurney and Mayo reads Mitchell as writes. A calm, satisfied look covers his face as he's taken out.